Phone security became an important thing at wedding.
Okay,
We are live.
very good. My name is Hunter Morrison. I'm the planning consultant for the city of Youngstown. This is the April meeting of the Youngstown Design Review Committee, convened at 9 a.m. Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. It's a Zoom meeting that is being recorded live and will be available on YouTube. There are three items on our agenda this morning. The first item is DRC 2112, Denise Holt of GPD Group and Matt Pajak of Stambaugh Auditorium will speak about a proposal to perform exterior alterations, including the removal and replacement of the Fifth Avenue monumental stairs and pavilion, restoration and replacement of existing limestone where needed, restoration of facade and metalwork on the building, and replacement of existing doors. This building is located at 1000 Fifth Avenue in Youngstown. Ms. Holt, are you here to speak on this?
Yes, thank you everybody for this opportunity to talk to you. Excuse me. As you can see there, with Stambaugh up at Wick Park there, that front facade currently is in pretty poor condition. It's the original from the 1926 building with the stairs and some of those other items. And what we have proposed to do is to basically disassemble the stairs and rebuild them back when their current condition. That will be new limestone at those top stairs. However, we are salvaging all the limestone treads that are able to be salvaged and reuse those at that lower set of stairs that you see down to the main sidewalk. We will be using all the existing limestone panels as it allows to rebuild the perimeter of that pavilion piece. And one of the things that we did add in there, you can see in the bottom left corner, we added a ADA ramp for access from the garden up to the pavilion level. Currently, for ADA access, they actually have to walk around the entire building and come down the main public sidewalk. And then there's a little alleyway that they can access from the backside. And we wanted to take that into consideration and address that with this project. The flagpoles, currently there's only one flagpole, but there are two bases. We're going to reutilize the bases and the flagpole and then add the second flagpole back. We believe the flagpole that had been there had been struck by lightning, and that's why it has currently not in place. As part of this project, in order to allow for safety in the evening, the handrails that we're showing will go back in their current locations. It'll be a very simple black handrail, but they will be lit. So they will be able to identify means of egress if needed. As far as the front facade, we intend on cleaning all the limestone, keeping the historic aspect of it in consideration as we do so. And then we will go through all that masonry and tuck point as needed. We're currently trying to get board approval to actually clean the stone for the entire facility as part of this as well, but don't have that yet. We will be putting new lighting on the building, and I can share my screen if needed for a night view that hadn't been posted. Let me see here. Is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Generally, we were just talking about this and the night view. would be something like this. We'll get new flagpole lighting put in place. We'd like to wash the face of the building. This will be all RGBW lighting so that they can, for different events, light it appropriately. And then you can see in here, as part of the restoration of the stone, there's current grill work that will get, again, treated and restored back to its original condition. And these doors currently here, we believe were replaced sometime in the 80s or 90s and just aren't functioning properly. So those will get replaced as part of this endeavor as well. But again, the goal is to put it back in its current state, but in an improved state. We have also met with OHPO from the state. They have been to the site, are fully aware of the project, and have signed off on what we had done.
And Ellie, is that the State Historic Preservation Office?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit how you intend to clean the building? What process you intend to use to clean the building?
We're currently looking at different processes. We are working with DeSalvo Construction and Turvo Masonry. They are bringing 3 to 4 different cleaners and processes for us to do test samples of it and see what makes the most sense. We believe there's, I'm sorry?
I was going to say limestone's pretty soft, and you'd want to use the most gentle technique, I think.
Yes, that's the goal. And the other thing we do realize is there are actually a couple different types of limestone up there. So that's why it's hard for me to answer your question on what process, because we want to make sure with the Grave versus the Indiana, we may have to do a slightly different process on those different limestones.
Speaking to that, there are panels or steps that you're going to have to replace. How do you intend to replace the damaged pieces?
So this entire thing will get ripped out down into the ground. So we're rebuilding a concrete structure below. It'll actually have masonry piers and filled with geofoam, and then have a reinforced concrete base. And then we'll set brand new treads for this entire piece at just a slight angle, just to get the water to shed, obviously. And then the pieces that are currently here, they are very much, you can kind of see here, deteriorated, cracked, and that sort of thing. So we would dispose of or remove any of those damaged pieces. We've actually were up there 2 weeks ago, and we did tag all of the stones for the entire area as to what was salvageable versus non-salvageable versus repairable. And a lot of these treads, in order to reutilize them, once they get them up, we may have to flip them over if that's a possibility. The other thing we'll do is, the damage seems to be, in a lot of the cases, towards the last foot or so of the actual tread. So we also talked about cutting the treads down if needed. And as Turvo gets that up, one of the big things that we do need to look at and make sure that we're cognizant of is all of the tread joints, and making sure that there's a consistent pattern and that we're going to avoid cracking. We will have 2 control joints in through here in that concrete structure, because there wouldn't be able to pour the entire thing in a day. So that also is being taken into consideration and detailed appropriately to make sure that we put this back for another 100 years.
It sounds like you don't anticipate needing a new stone or significant amount of new stone to replace the treads. Is that correct? That you think you can use?
No, we're only reusing stone at this lower level. This entire section will be new stone.
And where do you intend to get the new stone, since you have 2 different types of stone? And how do you intend to match that?
Turvo is working with a supplier out of Pittsburgh, and they have been coordinating already, securing the limestone from Indiana. They've taken samples of all of the stone back, and they are working with the supplier and where they're cultivating the stone and matching it as best as possible.
Oh, another question. You propose to light the east facade. You propose to light the south facade, which is very visible from the freeway, from the city at night.
Yes, and I'm trying to see, I believe I may also have an angled view, I think. No, I don't have an angled view. To answer your question, yes, what we're doing is, for example, that tape lighting will come around here down the south facade and actually back headed north over the marquee entrance. We'll also light these elements and the columns that are back on that marquee so that it's consistent around the building. And then we'd have general safety lighting, just replacing the current wall packs down below. As part of this too, and we've already met with Chuck out at the site, currently the main water line is coming through here into the building. And we suspect that there may be some leaks and some other things because of these walls bulging. Again, when we did borings, the soil was very moist. And this water line is going to be moved down into this grassed area and then rerouted into the building through the garden. So should we ever have to access again, it's not so cumbersome to get to it. And that relocation has also already been coordinated and approved by Mike over at the water department.
Those are my questions. Are there questions from the members?
This is not a question, but I just want to compliment you. That looks like an extraordinary plan, and that's very exciting.
Thank you. We've been working on it since 2013.
Matt, any comments from Stanbaugh?
Not really. I appreciate everyone taking the time to consider the project. And we're really excited to get this done. Like Denise just said, we've been working on this for a really long time and have been studying different ways to get this accomplished, and lots of meetings over the years. And it's really exciting to be at this point and hopefully be able to get this done. And in a year from now, I'll be looking at, restored facade at Standby. And like Denise said, I keep telling them every time we meet, this has to last 100 years. We're not doing this again for another 100 years.
It's a great series of improvements, and I'm excited to see the results.
And into that 100 years, we've even taken a consideration in the future, should they ever need to get a vehicle or anything else up here, all of this concrete and everything is all an ODOT mix and set up so that it is drivable. Because we don't know what's going to happen 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Chuck, any comments vis-a-vis the water line and coordination?
No, I have no comments. I met Denise and the general contractor a couple of weeks ago. So we got everything up from the engineering standpoint. I think we have everything. We understand everything.
Well, if there are no further questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion.
I move we approve the submission, and it's a great improvement to the community.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Mr. DeFrance and seconded by Mr. Cretion. Any discussion on the matter? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing the bright new Stanbaugh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next project is DRC 21-12, Kevin Scott and Samantha Yanucci of the Ohio Urban Renaissance. I have a proposal to perform an exterior renovation and additions, including a site redesign with walkways, landscaping, outdoor vent lawn, stage, pizza oven terrace at the garden area of the former Buckeye Elks Lodge located at 421 North Avenue on the north side. Samantha is here.
Hey, yeah, I'm on.
Very good. Is Kevin here? Yes.
I think I did see Kevin on. I know he's on vacation though, so maybe
Okay.
he's loosely listening.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, Kevin.
Well, whichever one of you is going to make the presentation, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Do you guys have the image to pull up?
Rick, can we pull that image up? This is
So
the existing condition, I believe.
That's actually the former Buckeye Elks next door to OUR's new facility. But if you go down, so where we're proposing, it's actually just landscape improvements on the northeast corner of North Avenue and Lincoln Avenue, just west of Belmont Avenue. Okay, you could go down. So the area, so this is the corner that we were talking about. I mean, this is the proposed conditions, obviously, but right now it's just unused dead space. It is closed in by a chain link fence and there's nothing happening on it. The area is currently unused. So we want to perform these landscape improvements to create an actual usable space for the kids that are associated with Ohio Urban Renaissance. They have a lot of teens going in and out of there every day through their various programs. So this really opens up the space to really activates the corner too from an urban planning perspective. You could see we have tiered seating, garden area, the pizza oven down there in the southeast corner with some tables around it. And then the raised platform that will be for music performances, spoken word performances, or whatever the students, would like, or whatever the kids and teens would like to use it for. But it will just really be a nice area for them to congregate. And then eventually through different programming, we would like to open it up to the public as well.
You mentioned a chain link fence. There's currently a chain link fence around this. What's your intention to handle? How do you intend to handle that?
There's an existing chain link fence that will come down.
Will you have any fencing at all, or is this be open?
There will be fencing, maybe just not in the first stage, but there should be a wooden fencing.
Well, what sort of fencing? New chain link or?
No, sorry, probably more wooden fencing.
Okay. So you're not applying for you're proposing to remove the fencing, do the landscaping, leave it basically open, and at some later date come back with potentially with a wooden fence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And the chain link fence is pretty beat up, correct?
Very much so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So is there any other testimony you'd like to offer on this at this point?
No, that's pretty much it. We have the architect on here too, if you have any other questions about it.
Could you or Kevin talk a little bit about what Ohio Urban Renaissance is doing, what their programming is? Give us a sense of how this is used.
I'll let Kevin take the mic on that one.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Basically right now, Ohio Urban Renaissance, we focus on youth outreach and development. So a lot of our programs are geared towards that 14 to around 22-year-old demographic. So we work with high school age children and above. We have college preparatory programming, which in the form of our ICANN program. Over the last year, we got about 15 kids in college alone that were inactive students. We have partnerships with YSU for CCP programming. Eastern Gateway Community College, Kent State University. We actually have a partnership through their esports program, and we actually have another partnership with IBM for CompTIA certifications. So we really focus on post-secondary education and job procurement for inner city youth in our area. So a lot of our programs are geared based on reaching out to that demographic, to that audience, and kind of capturing their attention and building relationships through mentoring and different things. So the facility itself houses the esports game and lab. It has a gym. We have a full kitchen now. We have community room, which is a common room that we use for the community for different meetings. We've had council meetings and community forums there. A lot of business, a lot of different business meetings, just community engagement events such as birthday parties and repasses and weddings and stuff of that nature. But I think that's kind of in a broad nutshell, kind of what we do.
Well, that's very good, and this will help enhance the appearance. Is there do you have an intent? Is there an awning there that needs to be replaced at some point? That's in that picture.
Let's hope that gets removed, at least in this.
Yeah.
Sorry, what awning are you guys talking about?
There's at least from the Google Earth, there was the awning on.
So the structure that's in the Google Earth image that you showed, their structure is directly south of that. So like if you're looking at the image, theirs is actually to the right. That's not their.
So this is a different owner?
Yeah, that's not where their programming is.
Do they own the building?
Kevin?
No, we do not own that building. That's a different facility.
Okay. So we can't ask you to tear down an awning you don't own. Okay.
Or we could.
We could tear it down.
It could disappear. Well, yeah, that might help your curb appeal. I guess that's my point.
We wouldn't tear it down. It could disappear.
It would disappear. That a little blade.
Yeah.
Just sort of general cleanup of the area. It's like you're spending a lot of money and effort to clean up your building, and might help to.
I have a question about the fence. Initially, your landscape plan is being developed without a fence. Now, throughout the city, a lot of vacant corners and locations have been re-landscaped, no fencing, and generally, I don't think those areas are abused. So what's the function of the fence in the future? Do you actually need one?
So if we do a fence in the future, let me just explain a little bit why we decided to renovate the garden or do the landscape improvements. It was actually part of a larger programmatic effort. So like Kevin said, OUR has a fully functioning kitchen. They have, commercial, it's like the commercial hood, commercial, what are they called? Like kitchen equipment. It was actually part of a bigger program to use, or part of a program to use the kitchen in conjunction with the garden area. So to have like a little culinary program for the students to learn healthy eating and nutrition, and then actually create little appetizers and hors d'oeuvres to serve them on the outdoor space, the garden area, in, like a little, basically like a little restaurant fashion for when there's live performances or when the students have poetry readings or music performances and whatnot. So the purpose of the fence was just to make it more of an intimate area and, really kind of just create the vibe, put some bistro lighting up, put a little fence. But
Can you consider a landscape barrier perhaps to get that privacy without building a fence?
Yeah, so there are some additions of trees along the walkway just south of the area. South of the plot. So that might actually even suffice just to create that kind of intimacy.
That answers my question.
Okay. Very good. If there are no other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion.
I move we accept the new landscape plan as submitted.
For a second?
second it.
Moved by Mr. LaFrance, seconded by Mr. Sasho. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And Mike, Mike Durkin, could you go out and take a look at that awning and see if that's something that could be cited and removed, just to clean up the area?
Sure thing.
Thank you very much. The next case is DRC 21-13. Nisa Nader and Apasia Lyris Bernacki of Penguin City Brewing. A proposal to perform exterior renovations, including painting of a building, replacement of an existing transparent panel system, and glazing on the building. Construct front patio with fencing, parking lot striping, and landscaping at the property located at 46 East Federal Street in downtown Youngstown. Aspasia, do you want to speak to this project while we get the images up?
I could speak to it. This is Anissa.
Anissa, oh yes, okay.
And I could share my screen if that works for everybody.
That's fine.
All right, can everybody see it?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you all for being with us today. We look forward to cleaning up this property that we've all probably driven past for years. As you know, Penguin City has acquired this building over the winter months and looks to really create a destination point here. So it's really going to bring a new perspective to the east side of downtown. So we're located at the corner of East Federal Street and Andrews Avenue. If you're familiar with the building, it's the old Republic Steel warehouse. The goal is to put I'm going to just zoom in here just because the font's a little harder to see at the scale. So the property lines are shown. So you can see it's not a huge property line. The existing fence that's adjacent to Brilex will remain just for the safety of the people on both sides. They have a lot of equipment on that side as well. But the existing perimeter fence along the two sides here, the west and the south, will be removed so that there can be access directly into the parking lot. Right now, that's just a security fence. And then obviously the greenery will be, kind of redone. Some of the sod and grass will be replanted. At a later date, we'll look at, if there's additional signage in the front or additional landscaping. But for right now, we're just looking at the building and the front patio. So let me just take you through some of the programmatic aspects of this building. The front space will be public parking and then access to both the patio spaces. The main entry for Penguin City corporate offices will be along the side. And if you're familiar with the building, this is just it was an office addition that was put on in the late 80s that has a nice storefront entrance there. In the future, the plan is to have possibly banquet type spaces. So if they're entertaining a couple to be married or planning an event at that location, that those people could come in through that side office entry. They also deal with a lot of distributors, brewers, to get their product out. So all of their office spaces will be in there. Also, you've probably seen a lot of press recently that they've partnered with Dope Winery and Cider, and that will be a tenant of theirs. So they will have their own patio space, and the Dope space will be at this front storefront here. And then the Penguin City patio will be along the face of their existing building as well. They have to be divided because they have two different liquor licenses. So that's what that division is there. And then obviously the entrance into the building for the public would be along that patio space. So you'll see main entrance for restaurant and tap room. There will be a restaurant type space in the building as well. At this time, we can't release those details, but it's really going to be something that the city has never seen before. So I'm really excited to introduce that at a later date. But for right now, we're just kind of looking at the exterior. On the side, you'll see employee parking. There's 22 parking spaces here. That will be an asphalt drive. So right now, it's just a gravel lot with some overgrowth. So all of that will be nice and cleaned up. There's an existing loading dock door here that will be used for distribution of product from their integral brewery within that space as well. So if we can go, any questions on the site plan so far? If not, I'm going to move towards the exterior elevations.
While we're on the site plan, a couple of details. Do you have intention to add any landscaping along the parking lot, particularly on East Federal and on Andrews, to kind of buffer the cars?
Yes. Yeah, that will be decided later. There's going to be some additional landscaping also along the fence line, but we want to kind of develop that program and finalize that program first and then submit it all at once.
Okay, so we would see that later. And at that point, would you also deal with the fencing around the two outdoor patios in terms of what that's going to look like in elevation?
Yeah, so I actually have that here.
Okay.
So it would be a black aluminum rail with cabling to keep that industrial look going. And then obviously the fences and everything would be.
And that would apply to both. You'd do them both at the same time.
That's correct. Yes. The division is only based on the Liquor License Control Board and the requirement of the division of the patios. Understood. So you'll see that at downtown, you'll see the federal and V2 have that same separation, and that is why. So it'll be very similar to that streetscape.
So yeah, we could approve the fencing detail at this point, but the landscaping plan would come in. We'd approve a removal of the chain link fence and later addition of landscaping. Is that what?
That's correct. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be sort of phased. I wanted to be as cognizant as the program as possible, and don't want to come back later and say, well, we want to add more landscaping or take out landscaping. We kind of want to hit it all at once, but we want to make sure that that's well thought out, well designed, based on some of the programmatic elements that are still pending. Good. Okay, so moving on to the new elevations. You'll see down here the existing building and what that looks like currently. Everybody's familiar with it, I'm sure. The Old Republic building. So these are the fence locations that will be removed. The electrical transformer will remain, but it will be buffered, again, with some fencing, or we just have to determine its exact location. And again, that program has to determine that, but that will be made safe so that nobody on the patio could tamper with that. It's in a locked cabinet currently, so we don't have an issue with that, but you'll see some pretty big changes here, and we're really excited. So the existing overhead door will become a glass overhead door to allow all that light in. The main entry door will be a double door located on the west elevation. That west elevation will be painted black with the logo Penguin City Beer across the front. And then the side elevation will be painted white in contrast with their theme on that south elevation as you enter into the city. That gray panel here, this is the transparent panels as we spoke about. They're currently transparent panels. Unfortunately, they're just so weathered and so old over the years. They're not so transparent anymore. So the goal is to make those transparent again, similar to what they were, and to allow more light into the space. All of these windows that are broken now will be fixed with new glazing panels, but to be reminiscent of what they were. We don't want to take away from the look of the building whatsoever. Penguin has stressed more times than not that they want this to look industrial. They want to be reminiscent of what this always has been and take it into the future of something of a reuse and a recladding of the building. And then you'll see the patinaed copper green color that trims the building. That is obviously reminiscent of the historical nature of the downtown and the history of the city with our beautiful patinaed copper cornice work that we have. So just adding a little flare of color, but again, making it historically significant, not just kind of picking a color off the charts here. So we're really excited. And then of course, the back as you enter into the city will have this great logo. The side of the building is not just for Penguin, as we kind of discussed what logo to put here and what's, to use their slogan. Their slogan is very cognizant of the brand, but also of the city of Youngstown, and I think the slogan is probably more relevant than ever, coming out of the times that we're coming, but entering into the city, tough times don't last, tough cities do. If anything, it's a mantra for the city of Youngstown as you enter in and really just making a statement to people as they enter into our city to say, like, we're back and we're better than ever. Just a little bit of background also, they've had this slogan for quite some time. So you'll see some billboards around town that look like this. And if you've heard the press recently again, they've actually, Lamar Billboards recently applied for a national OV award, which is different billboard design. And Penguin City was actually a finalist in the 2021 OV Awards. So our local brand is up against Absolute Vodka, and I forget what the other one was for the hard beverages. So we're really proud to restore this building, for Penguin to breathe some new life into it and really create a new destination in downtown Youngstown.
Thank you, Nisha. Is there anything else? Can I ask you the panels that are beneath the Tough Times logo? So
Mhm.
what are they made of? The lucite or some plastic?
Yeah, they're I believe they're like a fiberglass or a polycarbonate panel, and they're produced by a metal building manufacturer.
And would it be your intention then to replace those with a similar but new material?
That's correct. Those are the only things that are really getting replaced. The rest of the paneling appears to be, there may be some spot fixing, but the rest of the paneling appears to be in decent shape, just needs a good paint job. But the translucent panels and the glazing obviously is broken over the years.
And is it your intention to do that work in this phase of the business of the project?
That's correct.
Okay. You have two businesses in this building. There's no signage for the second business. So how do you handle the signage for the second business?
That's being developed again programmatically, and we'll come back for that signage. But we're focusing right now on Penguin signage, and then
would it be your intention to add to the west panel where Penguin City Beer with the other logo, or is that your intention to put that on the office building or above the office building or in some other way to separate them?
It would only be on the office building. So Penguin would be the only logo on this specific building.
So we'd be approving this logo on the main building with the understanding that there'll be a second logo submission on or above the building, the office building. Would that be fair to say?
Correct. Yes.
And you'll submit that at a later date.
Yes, either myself or whoever that brand is working with at that time for their signage.
Are you considering putting it above the building in some sort of a small sign panel or on the building? Do you have any thoughts on that at this point?
I think it'll be probably a lot smaller signage panel.
Okay.
On the building.
Okay. Well, not to get ahead of ourselves, but I think the committee needs to sort of understand what the big picture. We're approving basically the signage, the facade treatment, the window repair and replacement on the main shed building.
That's correct.
Are there questions from the members of the committee?
No question, but a comment from me. Aspasia, this is fantastic. We really, really appreciate what you've done in this corner of downtown. And we know the road hasn't been easy for you, but we definitely appreciate your patience and commitment and diligence in getting this job done. I know that we've had some talks in the previous meeting about parking and sharing space with your partners down there, and I'm happy we were able to facilitate a meeting. And we're hopeful that those meetings are continuing to happen between the business partners so that, you know, we can be the showplace and the showcase of what can happen when all businesses come together. We're communicating, we're working together as a team with the city. And this is just great. So kudos to you and your team. Congratulations on your nomination. And we're looking forward to everything that you have planned for this area. Thank you so much.
I'd like to second that. This is a game changer for the east end of downtown, and a game changer for Youngstown. This is a big, bold statement, and we haven't seen super graphics like this. And this is a great treatment of a difficult building, design-wise.
Nice work, Anissa.
I can't take all the credit. There's a lot of minds and a lot of talent in this. So I just want to give a shout out to Michael Ponticus with Sockenoff Design, who's all the logo design artist, and the overall painting company, who will be the muralist for this specific building. So they did an excellent job putting it all together.
If I could, I want to jump in real quick. First of all, I really appreciate all the hard work you guys put into this. And when people look at planning, they don't realize what happens behind the scenes before the product comes out. And this is just a birth of a great product that we've had. And I continue to tell everybody that as long as we continue to work together as a team and look to see what's going to happen in the future, I just think that the East End is now going to flourish even more. Individuals are probably looking to see, well, what's over there that I can do? Just coming out and taking that risk and that you know, here's what you believed in. You believe in your product, you believe in the city, and now we believe in you, and we continue to stand behind you during this renaissance. So as one who's had your product on many occasions, I continue to say when I go somewhere, if you have Penguin City, I'll take one. So we'll continue to do so no matter where we are and what we're doing. Kudos to you and your team. And I look forward to the grand opening, but also look forward to what's going to happen because of what you've done as an anchor right there at that corner. So you guys continue the great work. We'll see you out. I can't wait to stop by and see the progress.
Well, first, Mayor, we need a motion from a member of the committee to take action on this matter.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. DeFrance. Is there a second?
Second it.
Seconded by Mr. Creason. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anisha, what's the timing on this?
So we're hoping to be open, everything open in October, September, October. So you'll be seeing a lot of us in the next couple of months here.
Well, this will be Oktoberfest.
Yeah, this is Oktoberfest. So it's going to
right.
be a lot of fun. So everybody get ready for a new renaissance of East Federal.
This is a great way to focus a lot of attention on a forgotten part of downtown. So this is wonderful.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. There being no other business before the committee, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Excuse me, through the chair.
Yes, Nadita. Yes, Councilman Davis. Yes.
Yes, I just want to say I've been watching this thing, and I'm very impressed by all the positive things that I see going on. And I just want to commend all the people involved for doing such a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.